Good morning, everybody. This is Chunshim. Thank you for joining me again. Uh, Last time I gave you some questions for meditation, but we couldn't continue how to use the meditation for our life. So I gonna continue the last sessions. So we talked about the meaning of the past. Uh, for meditation. Meditation is being here and now, right? And then looking at inside. But then, what can we do with our past memories? So, when we go back to our memories, that's the past, right? It's not now. But where is the past? Does it exist? If you can bring it to me, right? It may exist. Can you bring the past now? Right? Nobody can do that because it exists. Can use the past. So last time, let me read the questions again for you. This book, I have decided to live 120 years, says often we need to meditate on this, right? What things have I achieved in my life? When was I most joyful? When were things most trying? How did I overcome hardship in those moments, and what did I learn through them? What moments in my life do I regret? When did I do things that made me feel proud and that I found rewarding? What momentary choices became opportunities that changed my life? What values did I try to remain true to in my life? What helped me remain true to those values? What got in the way of my remaining true to those values? What life goal have I had so far? What motivated me to establish those goals? Which of my life goals have I achieved? Which goals have I failed to achieve? Who have I had who have had a great impact on my life so far? Who have I considered precious so far? With whom do I wanna share my gratitude? With whom do I have emotional issues that I need to resolve and develop? Which of my habits do I want to discard? Which things have I really wanted to do but failed to do? What were the reasons I couldn't do the things I wanted to do? So, when we meditate on these topics, so if we don't pay attention, energy goes backward, right? So how do we know if energy moves to the backward? So when we meditate on that, and then kind of no idea, and then we can have the questions in our mind, but we don't feel ourselves. So then I can say energy moved to your past in your mind. Make sense? And then now this reality becomes empty energy wise. Another way we can meditate on them, but still we can be aware of the now, like breathing, feel myself, or if you can, feel your chakras. So then you can keep energy here. We can bring those questions here and now and meditate. Energy is like a water, it can move. Does it make sense? So when we just go back to our memories without clarity, what we can feel is often being hurt, confused, or despair. Does it make sense? So no self-value. But when we uh, stay here and now and change our attitude toward our past, let me use this. So then we can learn from our past. So we can use our past as what can I say, like motivation for the future, better future. Does it make sense? So it's totally up to our attitude. So, everybody has very painful memories or joyful memories, right? In all kinds of experiences. So when we have the pain in the past, our attitude is not like a re-editing or it's a erase. It's not like a changing it or ignoring. It's not. Because still our deep self knows it. Instead, we have to see it as it is. Our mistakes or any hurt, wounds. Some memories are very hard because we are helping the veterans. For them, it's very hard to go to themselves, their inside. I totally understand. When I feel their pain, my heart 이렇게 they share their experiences. So then it's hard to recommend, please go inside and look at inside. It's very hard. But still, for most of us, we can try it. So instead of changing our memories or avoiding it, what we need is look at it from the new perspective. Does it make sense? Like, the a very good historian, right? What they do, those scholars, great historians, they don't just say what has happened, hundreds years ago, blah blah blah. It's not. They help us see everything from the new perspective and then find the new meanings in events, past events, so we can have the better now and future. Does it make sense? So uh, their wisdom shows us what's the meaning behind of all those events. Does it make sense? Why did it happen? And then what meaning does it have, right? Or how can we use it? So, more productive attitude can say, because of that, now I will do this, or I will be this. Make sense? That is a more constructive attitude. So this book talks about one psychiatrist. So he wrote a book, Man's Search for Meaning. He survived the 4 concentration camps. So 1942, he and then his family, because he is a Jewish, he and his family were taken to camps. And then the whole family moved to the different camps. So years later, when he was released, he heard all his families died, except his sister and himself. And then since then, his main meditation is when we can't control our environment, when we just experience the constant pain, unbearable pain, and we can't do anything about all this, is there still reason or meaning for us to continue this life? So, while he was there, he held on to this question, and it really touched my heart. What's the meaning, right? So his answer was yes. So let me see if I can read something for you. He, anyway, he founded logotherapy, and he said life itself has a meaning, and the people have the ability to discover a meaning that is unique and unrepeatable, regardless of the circumstances in which we find ourselves. This search for meaning is the primary motivation in life. So, make sense? Everything can be taken. Sometimes we feel that way, right? We feel sometimes like, I can't control my life, maybe somebody else, or life controls me, right? But still, there is our last choice. Does it make sense? The last choice, last freedom, the freedom of choice that belongs to us. Asking, why me, right? And then we have to change their perspective. We can change. It's not have to. It's a suggestion. What if you ask this way? When those things happened, what was my last choice? What have I chosen? When I said yes, when I said no, when I chose one way, who made me do it? Even though people or a person forced me to do it, or maybe life, who said that? Who chose that? That was me. The last choice was on me. Make sense? So when we recover that freedom of choice, and then we can stand up again as the owner of our life, instead of living as a victim or slave of circumstances. Because of my father, because of my mother, my spouse, or my kids, or my childhood memories, or any pain. So instead of the becoming victim of those, and then when we say, the last choice was mine, and then we can stand up again, and then we can use the freedom of choice for now and then for the future. And then with the clarity from now on, because the last choice, that freedom is mine. So when we hold on that, and then we can be the owner of our own life. And then we realize I am creating my life right now. Either way, you gonna try that? Okay? So we don't know how many years are in front of us, but at least one day, 1 year, who knows, 10 years, recover your, the master consciousness and live your life as the true owner. So if you have any question or anything, please leave your comment here. Okay? Later I'm gonna see comments again, and thank you for joining me today, and then I hope it helps your life. Thank you. Love you. Bye.